Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Scratching Post, where we scratch at that gaming itch. It is Tuesday, the 25th of April, and I've already dated this podcast because that's what we do here. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
As if the news won't date it for us.
Touche. Good evening and welcome to the Common Nets Podcast. My name's Ebac, and I'm here at the Scratching Post. We scratch that gaming itch, and I brought myself and my friend together, where of course we comment densely upon the news that's happened in this past month. And that's not the news topic for today. That is just basically the topic which we have now. But we're going to, of course, getting to the news as the topic to come from. So we got so I gotta just change that across. The news. Hello, everyone. So first of all, if anybody's not been on the show before, my name's Ebac, and I'm, of course, the host of this channel. But, of course, we've got, as our guests, one Burr.
Good evening, infidels.
Oh god.
Silence. Thank you.
We have Shadow Phoenix Rider.
Hello? I'm here.
Hello, and, of course, Lemming Russ. Oh, we got a subscription from Divot. Thank you so much, Div.
Thank you.
Well timed, David. I don't have to give my speech now.
You are immortalized forever on this podcast.
Mortalized forever on this podcast. So yeah, welcome everyone, as we're going to talk about various topics in the news, as well as what we've been playing this month as well, which I always surprise them with this, so I'm going to do it right now. But what have you been playing this month?
Oh, I've been playing just recently, just before the podcast started. I've been playing, hopefully finishing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Oh.
Because I decided to get myself and my family an expansion pass for Nintendo Switch Online. So I have access to Game Boy Advance games, because this is something that I've never heard of. I've never seen a Game Boy Advance live, because for some reason in Poland, Nintendo only appeared with a Wii. We've never heard of a Nintendo before. There's no such thing. Nintendo sounded. It was like, if it wasn't a karate move or like a martial art Hong Kong movie, we would have no idea what Nintendo is.
Nintendo would be like, yes, we release our games in the US, the UK, Europe, and Polonia.
There's just a wall here. What do we?
What?
Yeah. It's like they didn't know how to climb over the Iron Curtain, despite the fact that it was down for 15 years already.
No, the entire country hadn't rendered.
Yeah.
We just got there. It was like, we can't sell here. There's nothing here.
Yeah, it was like there was a glitch in the fog of war that disappeared.
It's funny you mention that. I was watching Map Men today, and they did an episode where they talked about how a map from the 90s where the East Germany is on maps of Germany. There's just a blank space. You know, it's just like this big white blank space of mystery.
Like, we don't know what's
East Germany stopped existing, so we just poured seawater over it.
You just walk into the black space, just fall through the.
Yeah. So now I have a chance to play all those Game Boy Advance games, and it's such a great bob. And I gotta say, I would have hated this game if not for the fact that I can create suspend states, that I can rewind time. Otherwise, I mean, my Hulk hands that are also slightly disabled are not able to catch up to all the quick reactions that they have to do there. So I'm constantly rewinding things.
Show of hands, who actually?
But other than that, I love it.
Show of hands, who actually has purchased the expansion pass since they introduced the GBA stuff onto?
I haven't yet, but I will eventually.
I have. I have to admit, the N64 games didn't interest me. As soon as they said Game Boy Advance games are coming, I was like, right, that gives me a reason I'm getting it. Especially when they had Metroid. Yeah, they had Metroid Fusion on there as well. So
Yeah, no, I continue to say like the GBA and the GameCube era of games, like the GBA, the GameCube, the PS2, and the Xbox were the generation where you had the most varied, interesting, like different types of games, and we are losing that generation. It pisses me off constantly.
I definitely think it's like a renaissance generation of gaming because, of course, I think the golden era was during the 16-bit when you were starting to get those games emerging, and in the kind of the early eras of 3D where you're starting to see gaming change and shift. And then we entered a renaissance period, I think, after that. Then again, I think we're kind of in. Actually, we were kind of might be in a bit of a renaissance period because thanks to indie, a lot of us we're starting to realize, 2D and like early 3D is like a medium now. It's like an art style, but yeah. Anyway, to carry on the question, Lemming, what have you been playing this month?
I've been playing quite a bit, thanks to some nudging on Nintendo's part, as in games releasing soon. I bought and I've been replaying Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Ah,
Yeah, I've been doing a fair amount on that. I've finally beaten the 4 divine beasts, and I'm making my way towards finalization. I've got plenty of time to do it in.
it's why I didn't call it a golden age, Div. Well, I guess did call that a golden age, but yeah, effectively, it was the era that a lot of people look back fondly, and it was an era where there was a lot of advancement in terms of progression and innovation. And that's basically why I look at that and think it's like, because that transition was an interesting period.
Yeah.
Yes, Bear?
Although I would kind of just like I would contest that description, because I feel all the time we have that golden age is just the majority of gamers, like the majority of people who make purchasing decisions for games, are people that are right now in their late 20s, early 30s.
True.
So the time they are looking at most fondly is when they were teenagers. So that's what you are like talking about as a golden age for you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with Divot in saying that good games, bad games just come out constantly. That is
Of
just
course,
the
yeah.
nature of things. What I more mean about a golden age is more the variety of kind of games that we're getting. Like
And
there are some really interesting ideas that came out for that generation of consoles that seem to have just petered out. We're getting them back with indie games, but like I miss it. I miss it.
I would say that era of games has the most technical and gaming innovation compressed into such a short time.
Yeah. There was a lot of experimentation going on.
You don't get a lot of that these days.
No, a lot of these days, the AAA industry tends to play it quite safe, whereas the indie industry tends to be the more kind of experimental division. But that does hamper things a little bit. But yeah, Shadow, what have you been playing?
I had one main game that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Go on.
Go on.
Oh, we get 2, and I have 1 as well for later.
Advance Wars.
Oh,
Yes.
It's finally out of its cage.
Advance Wars Reboot Camp came out.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been watching yesterday. It has
Slightly
such a
delayed
great
by
music.
the Russians, but
It's a lot of fun. They've added some quality of life improvements to the overall game that I very much approve of as somebody who hates getting halfway through a level and going, I messed up that turn and now I'm screwed. They let you reset a turn.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes! I know I did that wrong. Nice. I could reset the turn. That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah. The only problem is the little store they've got. By completing missions, you earn currency, and there's like, use it at the store. There's no way to skip the store's opening dialogue, which is long and convoluted.
Oh no.
You have to go through it, and then I'm pressing the skip button, and the skip button takes me out of the store. And then at the point I'm in, I'm only like a third of the quarter of the way through the original campaign. But after every mission, go to the store, buy things, and then I go to the store, and it's only maps and music. I'm not playing the multiplayer right now, and the music I can listen to in the game.
We've all been there. We've all been there, haven't we?
Music is great.
When we're trying to fast forward through that dialogue option, and then that option comes up. Do you wish to repeat what I was just saying? Yes. No. And then
When healing your Pokemon at the Pokemon Center.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you understand that? No. Oh, oops. No. Fuck yes.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
why beyond that.
That's why you always, after you start healing your Pokemon, you press the B button because it cycles the dialogue but that does mean it means that you don't
Yeah.
start the conversation again.
Expect plays.
Beyond that, having a great time, brilliant game,
Mm.
maybe not worth the 50 quid price tag.
Oh,
Ooh.
that seems
Yeah,
a bit
maybe
much.
not.
I get that it's 2 games in one, but even that is still steep, you know.
Yeah,
It is
especially for
still a
games that came,
remake.
Yeah.
especially for
it's-
games
Yeah.
that came out in 2001.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
also, they're not very long games, are they?
Yeah, I mean, collections I'm a bit more like okay on because it's like okay, you're getting a lot of games, but even that is like there's 2. Yeah, there's 2 games. You know, it's like
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
There's
on the
2 games in
Nintendo
the
Switch store, it is £59.99.
oh,
Oh,
2
no.
fairly short games.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get like $70 out of Breath of the Wild 2.
Although I don't know whether they are that short, because How Long to Beat Now says that the reboot can last 40 hours. So it's not that
Well,
bad.
I
We'll
guess it
find out because I'm playing through all of it, either on stream, at home when I'm not streaming, or at work because the Switch is portable. I play it on my lunch break.
it's about £1 an hour. That's not too bad, I guess. I mean, it's always these hard things to kind of price up a game. But I look at that and I'm like a bit scoffing. Shadow, what have you been playing?
Me, I have finally been freed from WoW. Woo!
She's free!
I am free.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
free. I
free.
do want to talk about a bit about WoW, but
We'll get
I
there.
am free from
Yes.
Dragonflight. I don't need to do
Yes.
that.
Alex Straza gave Dobby a sulk. Dobby is free.
Yeah, I reached max level. I did it. I did it, guys.
Yay!
We did it, Reddit.
That's
And because
Beat
of
your
that, I've been
personal
playing
goals.
quite a few games actually. I played the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is amazing. It is amazing. I subjected Burr and Evac to it. It was
Yes.
great.
And we subjected the Silly Voices Squad to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
And it
Great
was
game.
great. And it was great yet again.
Such a good game. Like if it's
Yeah.
still up, it's completely free and it's
Go
worth
get it. It's free.
Still up.
It
It's
is, yeah.
It
Yeah.
is possibly one of the greatest just April Fools
Gag
jokes
games.
ever.
And the thing is, it's made by people who genuinely love like Sonic, and that's the best thing about it. It's so good.
And I mean, it's also people who love goofing around. I mean, the Sonic pose as he's lying dead alone is just
The memes.
yes.
I did also one of Epic Game Store's free games was Warhammer 40k Gladius, and I was like, okay, sure. So I dabbled with that a little while.
Did you
I'm not very
enjoy it?
good at strategy games, so I flunked out of that pretty hard. But
I mean, to be fair, I'm not. I enjoy strategy games. I've played them for a long time. I've played Gladius a fair bit. I played it on stream. I still can't win. I can't win a game.
it's impressive, just like 40k is.
Yeah.
I have also streamed Jedi Fallen Order, which was more fun than I expected. So expect more streams of that in the future with my friend Ebac alongside with me because that was fun as fuck. And also, I have also been playing 2 other games, but one of which I briefly mentioned here, which is Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin, which is basically the only Monster Hunter game I ever played because it's Monster Hunter but Pokemon. It's great. I love it. It's also extremely anime as fuck. Hopefully, I will have gotten more into it. So next podcast, I'll talk more about it. But one game that I really want to talk about is Terra Nil. I've talked about it before. I think I mentioned it on a podcast where I played the demo of it, and basically, it's a city builder game, but in reverse. So what you do is you've got a wasteland of a planet kind of thing, and it's your job to bring life back to the planet by cleansing the earth and the water and making different biomes and habitats, and then bringing the animals back. And then what you do is after you've done all that, you pack up everything and you fucking leave. And leave the wilderness to itself.
Purified.
Yes, it's such a lovely game. The thing is, when I initially played the demo, it was strict. It was very strict and difficult, and I basically and I basically was like, I can't do this because I suffer very badly from choice paralysis. So I'm constantly analyzing my decisions and going and basically, from what I played at the demo, I was like, I can't do this. It's too hard for me, and I didn't enjoy it. The best thing about Terra Nil is the difficulty options. Praise be, those difficulty options are the reason why I got that game and I've played it until I finished it. There's literally one achievement I haven't gotten right now. Otherwise, I would have completed that game on Steam as well. It's it that that's why I really want to talk about it, because its difficulty options actually sold me the game. If it didn't have like an easy mode for me, I wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't have enjoyed it so much. So would 100% recommend that game. Like, get it. It's so good.
It is
The
frauds.
team, yeah, the team says that they will make more content for it, but considering they're a very small team and they were like crunching to get it out, and all, well, not literally crunching, but like really going at it to get it out and another game, they say, well, you need to take a break first. And like,
Understandable.
cool, you guys look after yourself. You made a great product, and I want you to make good products. So look after yourselves.
Awesome. I've not been doing much gaming this month. It's been a pretty slow month for me. I've been playing a lot of Metroid Remastered, which has been fun. Making my way through that. I'm nearly at the end. One more stream this week, and I should finish that game just in time for Jedi Survivor, which comes out this Friday. Cannot wait. I have also been playing. I played a little bit of Dead Space, which I played last stream with Shadow and Burr over my shoulder, which was done just Sunday.
Wider.
Yeah, Sunday with it. Yes,
Yes.
it was very fun.
Sunday.
I played a little bit of the original, but not all of it. And for what I did play, that was quite enjoyable from what and very memorable from what I played originally. I will also say another game that I've been very much playing, which I've got for free on the PlayStation Plus, is Tchia. Very much been enjoying that. Great little wholesome game. Very beautiful. Very kind of relaxing. It's a chill GTA without any violence, or with very little violence, unless you count burning cloth creatures as violence. But fair enough. It's a very fun. Yeah, it's a fun game based in New Caledonia. Great setting, great location, great aesthetic. Highly recommend it. You want to pick up Cheer and play it. You can get it on the Epic Play Store now, or if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you can get it for free. So do pick that up. Great little game. Now, so that's basically what I've been playing this week. Hopefully with some Jedi Survivor coming up later this week. I ordered it. I pre-ordered it today. I finally.
I just want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I finish up first.
Yeah, I just finally pre-ordered for Jedi Survivor today. So.
Yeah, I was just going to mention what Divot says. Like, he's absolutely correct. But I didn't have as much problem with the polar area as I did with the continental area and the bit where when the bloody radiation starts. It's just like, the worst.
You were going to say something, Bear.
I mean, one thing is, Steam just told me that my Jedi Survivor is preloaded now. So I can sit and wait. And another thing is, I wanted to. Sorry.
No, and you get to play it an hour earlier because you live in Poland.
No, it all waits for the 1 Pacific time.
Oh yeah, Steam's universal, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Drat.
Which will be really upsetting.
Drat.
I want to play. I want to play it earlier. Yeah, but I also wanted to, because if we can say about more than one game that we've played.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. I've been playing A Plague Tale Requiem, which is a sequel to Plague Tale Innocence. They're both really great games. They're more like puzzle adventure games, telling a story about 2 children trying to survive and find the cure for the younger one in the time of a plague. And that game wrecked me so badly in terms of emotional damage. Yeah, it's like exactly like that meme, lie down on the floor, try not to cry a lot.
Yeah.
it absolutely broke me. But if you're immune to emotional damage, absolutely recommended both games.
Or if you're not immune and just want to enjoy a good storytelling experience, go and play it.
Yeah.
I have a couple of games that I haven't been playing.
Doesn't count. It's games you've been playing.
No, this is news from me. I finally uninstalled Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus and Azure Lane off of my phone.
Right, you could join Shadow and you could join Shadow in the Freedom Party.
Yay!
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 We're free from the live services, but I'm probably going to go back to WoW when the next
No,
thing on the
I'm
trading
enjoying
post
I'm enjoying the artwork and the news from both sides, but I'm not getting into those games anymore.
You are now detoxed and gacha free.
Yes.
Right then, let's actually kick off with the news, which is what we will be normally comment densely upon.
I mean, we comment densely upon everything.
I mean, yeah, that's true. We do. We comment densely upon everything. It's a very
occasionally about video games.
Occasionally about video games.
Yes.
Nice little callback. Lemming, let's start off with you. You've got an interesting article here. So, would you care to take us through it?
Yeah, I've got a couple of articles. We'll start with the small one first, just to get this out the way, and then we'll go into something bigger. First off, Sega is set to acquire a small studio called Oij. It's from Finland, Finn-based Rovio Entertainment Oij mobile game company, famous for making the game Angry Birds.
Yes.
They're going to acquire them. The acquisition should take between now and 2024. But this does give Sega a major mobile development live service. We all hate that, but that's how mobile games generally work. Developer. And Sega, for those who don't know, Sega aren't just game developers, they're also merchandise producers. A lot of like these figures, for example, a lot of figures like that are made and manufactured and produced by Sega.
They also make gambling machines.
Another arm and gambling machines. Mostly in Japan, but they're around the world. Like claw machine things. And this just adds another arm to that. They're just waiting for regulatory approval for the purchase to go through.
It's weird how...
Also, Sega of America is unionized.
That was also a thing as well, yeah. Sega America's unionizing. I will say, Sega's a weird one, because it's kind of like a company that was on the precipice of death and then suddenly just hung off that precipice for a while, and now is slowly being pulled back thanks to things like successes like the Sonic movie and acquisitions like this. To be fair, I'll be honest, Angry Birds is kind of like a dead franchise at this point. It was once a powerhouse of an industry, and now it's just kind of like there. So I wouldn't say this is more a very big gain for Sega. It's more the fact that it's a loss for Rovio.
I guess it's turning over money from like the people who've had it on their phones for forever, but I don't see much.
I mean, I remember when there was a time where Angry Birds came pre-installed on a lot of phones.
Yeah. And Div says Sega
it's still been there. It's just been kind of dead since 2019 when the Angry Birds movie sequel came out.
Yeah, that happened, and then
Div says Sega is a weird one to me since I know they are a thing, but as their main big IP, Sonic is something I don't care about. They've always been off my radar. Thing is, they're more than just Sonic, but thing is, that is what everything hedges them on. Like,
they publish
they published
Total
most
War
games.
They always publish the weird things you don't expect.
It's not just published, but they purchased Creative Assembly and all of the Total War. With all of the Total War games, they were literally like owned by Sega.
They also own Atlas.
So and now, for a while now, they all own Atlas, which is responsible for all the anime bullshit called Shin Megami Tensei universe, like Persona and tons of other games.
Yeah, because I remember when Total Biscuit was doing his boycott of Sega, like there were a lot of games that I wouldn't expect that he had to touch up for a long time. That was after the Shining Force.
It's like what Elle said that Sega was on a precipice. literally because of Total War, I realized Sega is not dead. It's like I started I think Rome Total War 2, and it started with the Sega logo. I was like, wait, Sega's alive?
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
it's
let's
They've
look at
just been
series.
chilling.
Let's look at series
Yeah.
owned by Sega that don't involve Sonic.
Choo Choo Rocket.
Streets of Rage.
Company of Heroes, Yakuza, the series that you just mentioned. Oh God,
Streets of Rage.
where's my brain?
No.
Streets of Rage. The 2 Point games, 2 Point Hospital,
True.
Total War,
Yeah.
for example. Football Manager, for the people who are into that.
Decades of drift.
Yeah,
Decades of
Dawn of War
drifting.
series. All right.
Yeah.
And
They
Sega-
do
Sega-
so many different
Sega-
series of games. It's quite nuts.
Yeah, it's because you always think of Sega as this tiny little thing, but it's actually quite larger than you think. I think it's because they kind of keep a down low, very much so, and they kind of. It's interesting because I was watching a video which Burr showed earlier, which did kind of like highlight how they're actually much larger than you think in terms of what they do. Like they have a subsidiary company that make pachinko machines over in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is actually
also,
them.
it's-
Go on, Burr.
I mean, this is a strange thing because their subsidiary is bigger than them and owns them.
Owns them, but Sega's the company who has the face because Sega has a more family-friendly image.
Yeah, and also since that is a company that dabbles almost predominantly in gambling, it's like an anglerfish situation where Sega is this bright light at the end of the angler thing.
Fascinating video
Let's
to
not
go
forget
into.
one game that you would not expect Sega to be responsible for, and that's Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also
yeah.
that, yeah. Yeah.
What? So yeah, they stopped making consoles, but continued making games, but stayed on the down low enough to build themselves back up, and now they own a lot of things.
That makes me pretty sure also there must be Sonic mods for Alien Isolation.
There probably is.
Yeah, also, they publish Amplitude games like Humankind and Endless Legend and stuff like that. So yeah, they've even got their hands in a lot of pies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them wholesome.
No, unfortunately. But that's corporations. That's just how it goes these days. They've got their hands everywhere. Some of them they don't want people to know about.
Speaking of corporations,
piece of news.
Speaking of corporations in competition, Lemming.
But the second news topic I've got for the day is the continuing saga of Ironmace games versus the greedy as fuck corporation.
Can't have nice.
Ironmace Games have had their upcoming game Dark and Darker removed from Steam due to copyright claims and various other bullshit from a big, I almost said South Korean company whose name Nexon. That's who they're called, Nexon, who basically say that they've stolen the game, the assets, and everything from them, their intellectual property, and are taking the studio and the lead developer to court over various things and had the game removed from Steam. The lawyer for Ironmace Games has publicly he linked this email to various content creators, a couple of whom I am involved with on a community level, basically saying, yeah, we're fighting this with all we've got. None of the allegations hold any sort of water. We're taking this all the way. Also, you can download the latest version for our playtest via torrent.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, isn't this Nexon like really salty that these devs managed to make a game that was more successful than what Nexon had?
Basically, yeah. Nexon came up with an idea a couple of years ago about a extractor game, a Tarkov style extraction shooter, but in a fantasy world. So it uses, fantasy setting, fighters, rogues, mages, the basic. In a first person, go into a dungeon, loot up, get to an extraction point, and leave. Simple premise. Undone, but not done yet.
wasn't it literally the guys that left the company created Ironmace?
Yeah, there's been various back and forth on the subject. The person, the person under the scrutiny is saying that he was working on this test development while working at the company. He then was told, during working from home processes, he had to work from home. He was allowed a server to put this, put the assets of the game on to do his development from home. This was okay until apparently at some point it was not okay, and then he was fired, and he took all that with him, according to them, according to Nexon. On his words, he was allowed to do all of that, and once he was gotten rid of, he wiped the server. He wiped his personal server.
Yeah, as you're supposed to do.
Yeah, well, and that's what the evidence suggests, that he has wiped his server. And then Nexon go on to say, all of these assets were stolen. They're all, if not most, if not all of the assets are on the Unreal Engine store.
Yeah, I was also thinking, like, surely they would be like, because there are programs that track changes, aren't there?
Yeah.
Like Stack Overflow and stuff like that. Surely they would be able to. Surely there would be an audit trail.
Yeah. So Ironmace are that confident that they are going to fight and win this case, that they even produced a new server play test for people to play. I believe it was last weekend via torrent.
Oh.
They can't do it via Steam anymore. Fuck it, we're going to go through a torrent. Here's the download link.
Dang.
There you go.
Yeah,
They've got the balls to go, yeah, we're still making this game. We're still going to keep doing it. We're going to fight you on it, and I respect that.
Yeah, and also that's how you build fans' goodwill. Because later, when they come back to Steam, it'll be like with the Dwarf Fortress fans that have been waiting 20 years to buy a free game, and they will buy a free game.
Mm-hmm. Their lawyer, Aaron Moss, has been quoted saying, what appears in Dark and Darker consists primarily of third-party assets legally acquired from the Unreal Assets store, to the extent that Nexon used the same or similar assets. That does not give rise to a copyright claim. Because of course it doesn't.
Of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't own those assets.
You using the same assets in a publicly available store does not mean you own the fucking assets.
It's a bit like me
Sorry.
Well, it's a bit like me going to like a website that sells images, getting like a stock photo off there, putting that stock photo in something, paying for the use of that stock photo, and then another company saying you can't use that photo because we used it. Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's like me going to a bookstore, buying a book of a movie that's out, and then saying that movie breaks my copyright because I own this book. It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I wish Ironmace all the best in their future endeavors, and I hope they fight this tooth and nail and pull through and get back on Steam.
Yeah.
Speaking of fighting tooth and nail, Shadow, you've got some lovely news from our lovely friends over at Blizzard, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, because Blizzard can't just go 5 minutes without doing something stupid. But before we get into them,
I love that Shadow's like, Drifty's like, no, not Blizzard.
We'll give you a bit. I'll let you sweat a little bit more.
We'll not snore you under just yet.
Yeah, we'll not snore you under just yet. So you know that OGL problem we had like at the beginning of the year, where Wizards of the Coast decided they wanted all the money in the world and they wanted to fuck over other smaller TTRPG people in the space, and then they got shouted down.
Yeah.
So we thought, everything was sorted. They left it alone, and we thought that's fine. That's fine. And then they decided that, okay, so I need to give a little bit of context. Like, Wizards of the Coast also handles Magic the Gathering, the card game. There's been a lot of controversy of recent about how they've handled it, like the Black Lotus stuff, and I'm not going to get into that. It's just been a pile of shit, basically. So what happened was a content creator, a YouTuber, ordered something. I think he ordered a specific expansion, but accidentally was given an as of yet unreleased, new release of Magic the Gathering. I think it's a Magic the Gathering expansion. He was actually accidentally given that, and he made a video about it. And Wizards of the Coast decided that the most appropriate reaction to this was to send the Pinkertons in. Context: if the Pinkertons sound slightly familiar, yes, they are the Pinkertons that you were thinking. The same Pinkertons that used to strike break in very violent fashion, and were basically an army used by corporations to strike break violently, very violently, during the 90s. Well, not the 90s. It would have been like the 1920s, something like that. So yeah, they were mentioned in Red Dead Redemption 2. Just so you know, that Red Dead Redemption 2. And before you say, wait, are the Pinkertons still around? Yes, they are. They got very unhappy by Red Dead Redemption 2 pointing out that they were a piece of shit.
I mean, the 1920 style, almost monopolistic corporations are still there. So of course they need armies like Pinkertons.
Yes. So
here's the article from the Polygon, courtesy of Charlie Hall. Magic publisher sent Pinkerton agents to a YouTuber's house to retrieve leaked. For reference, it's the March of the Machine, the Aftermath, which isn't, according to this title, isn't due in stores until May. So basically, someone sent him the stuff that's not been released yet, effectively.
Yeah, by accident.
By accident.
Completely by accident. And instead of saying, hey dude, could you just take the video down, please? Like, instead of sending like a cease and desist or a takedown notice from lawyers, like, you know, a normal
like
company
a normal person.
No, it was sending the Pinkerton agents who apparently basically banged on the door, frightened this guy's wife, like brought her to tears, kind of thing, because they were so bullish, and took all the cards, like all of them, away. Because, you know, that was an appropriate response.
Did they reimburse the guy?
Having pink-striped suits and Tommy guns.
Did they reimburse the guy?
Not initially. As it mentions down in the article that you're showing here, they are in talks to reimburse the.
No. You don't get to send people to your other place and take the shit that they paid for and then not reimburse it. No, that's not how this works, Wizard. You know, you can get your shit back. In fact, to be fair, this entire thing is been blown way out of proportions. The person who fucked up was the person who sent the stuff to this guy. Nothing to do with this guy. This guy has full within his rights to have his video up. He's under no obligation for an NDA. He's under no copyright notice. He has no obligations to you. His video should stay the fuck up on there, and you stay off his fucking property.
Yeah.
As it mentions in the article, it's possible that somewhere, accident in the distribution chain mistook March of the Machine product for March of the Machine: The Aftermath. And there's two. I think there's two properties, and they must have gotten mixed up. Like, an honest mistake that did not need the fucking Pinkertons involved. Come on, did not. Well, I'm just gonna say, didn't need the Pinkertons. Didn't need like agents just fucking going round somebody's house. It's because like, you know what? See, you really needed like more bad press after the OGL nonsense. And there's also like fucking stuff with the D&D stuff that I'm not going to go into right now. But
I'm rightfully here drifting because none of this is this guy's fault. All he did was purchase a product that he was then shipped the wrong product. Now, naturally, if you're someone who is a YouTuber, which he was, you would of course take advantage of that and be saying, "Hey, look, I've got the stuff that's out early," and talk about it because hell, I deal with board games and video games. That's what we do when there's a scoop. You kind of want to talk about it. Whenever there's an X-Wing leak, I'm always talking about it because that's big news within my circle. That's what happens. Yeah. Now, I am under no contract with AMG or Lucasfilm Limited or whoever, what it is, to not disclose or do an NDA on any of these products. the company that make them are. If they want to take down my video, then they've got a shit ton of lawyering to lawyer up, because unfortunately it's a case of, well, that's, whereabouts is this my fault that I've got that,
Yeah, exactly. It's not your fault. You were given the wrong.
Yeah, and also he's
No,
broke.
drifting. Sorry, this is not Blizzard doing this. This is Wizards
It's
of
Wizard,
the
yeah.
Coast, a completely
Yeah,
different
this is
company.
Wizards of the Coast, who is the company who make Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, we'll
as
get
well
to
as Magic the
Blizzard.
Gathering. We'll get to
To be
Blizzard.
fair, there is plenty to bitch about on both counts.
Both,
so-
yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get to Blizzard right now.
Yeah.
So on the 18th of April, one of the devs from a producer at Blizzard, went to Twitter and tweeted, "Being loud," I quote, "being loud about it because I've lost yet another person this week. Blizzard is using amazing talent because someone empowered doesn't listen to the game directors who make his products. D&I also means diversity of thought, especially when it's backed by data and financials." This is from Adam Galaxygraph.
I've got the tweet up here.
Indeed. So this guy, and so basically, as context, I think it was a couple of months ago, Active Blizz decided that the most appropriate thing to do for its developers was, "Hey, you've got to come back into the office! Yay!"
Yeah, I
And
mean,
And it turns out that that's a bad idea, and they're losing talent because, well, people at Blizzard don't get paid. The thing is, like, the people at Blizzard don't get paid a very high wage, and they're being forced to come into the office into San Francisco, one of the places that has the highest cost of living, as well as housing. Not very
and
much housing.
and one of the worst traffic.
And the worst traffic, and people are looking, and these devs are very rightly looking at other places that say, "Yeah, we'll let you work from home. Yeah, you could do that for more
Are
money."
you
And they're
saying?
"Yes, I think I shall fuck off, thank you."
Are you saying they're not getting paid enough for that bullshit?
Indeed.
Yeah, and also normal companies, they encourage you, they incentivize you to come back to the office. But if you don't, it's still fine. Enough people will turn up to the office. But no, Blizzard decided everyone has to go to the office.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I wish I could get a work from home job.
He's hoping. You wanted to add, El?
yeah, just saying, but my workplace is not even putting indications of me ever returning to work, like in the office. They've asked, like, "Do you want to come back in?" No, it's fine. You can continue working from, because now my office hire all over the country rather than just locally. So there's no point to, because why would I? And so yeah, that I just feel like the bottle, Pandora's box has been opened, people. It's now been shown that you can work from home, and it's quite easy to work from home. And
shockingly,
yeah,
shockingly, it's been we've had this tech ready to go for quite some time.
But there's a lot. There's
it's productive, or if not more.
There's also a lot of, I see this a lot recently. A lot of like companies and certain kind of newspapers talking like, "We need to end this work from home stuff. It's it's time to get back to the office." And I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's just like, enjoy having no employees.
The only reason y'all want people to come back to the office is because you're paying rent on those offices.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, my work has only recently said you only need to come in like once a week now, because most of my work is now being scanned in. I mean, we've still got like some physical. No, I'm not going there. I'm gonna have a war
That's my job. That's why I have to go to the office.
So to continue, this person in Adam's thread, he said, he basically says in one of his later ones, "We are creating crisis maps of what we can and cannot ship. That is the loss of capacity we're facing. I literally have a schedule I strike out as people hand in notice," which is kind of shocking, because I'll be right honest. Dragonflight, the recent expansion for WoW, was actually pretty good. I really liked it. There was a lot of passion and love within there. Like people, like you could feel it. You could really feel it. And now it just feels like we are one content patch in, a second one coming in, and now it just feels like, oh, okay, so now it feels like this expansion's been shot in the face because ActiveBliz just cannot fucking deal with stuff. And when this tweet was like put to Activision Blizzard, it was quite funny because, as I quote from the IGN article I have here, when reached for comment on this, a Blizzard spokesman said that creating crisis maps is, quote, not a team practice for WoW. However, making decisions around priorities, iterating, and ensuring quality are everyday parts of game development. Now, one, isn't that what crisis mapping is, duh? What? Crisis mapping's part of prioritizing, surely.
Yeah.
And also, two, did you notice that they nowhere denied that they have a talent bleed?
Yeah, because they can't deny it because they will be called out on denying it.
It's so stupid.
They're using typical corporate speak to bullshit their way around and not saying anything.
Yes.
I think
they're not going to say there's no talent loss at Buzzing Say.
I just want to draw attention to this reply by Elliot Birch there. A problem across any and all creative industries. Execs always know better somehow. You know, it's yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So frustrating. Now, after I've kicked Blizzard in the shin a couple of times, I've actually got some good news about Blizzard. And it's a little thing. It's a little thing, but it's about WoW, and it is kind of close to my heart because it's about trolls, and I like it's about the troll race, and I play a troll in World of Warcraft. She's my baby. I love her very much. So I'll have to give you some background. I'll have to give you some background lore. So strap yourselves in. So the leader of the trolls, Vol'jin, before he got unceremoniously killed off in Legion. That was always a fun fucking time. And he's wandering around now as a spirit, and there's some bullshit going on about him absorbing the stuff of Razan, the Lower of Kings. But God, don't get me started. So the leader of Vol'jin had this elite group of troll warriors around him, who are the best of the best. They're kind of like up to Shadowhunter kind of level, like
the elite.
Yeah, they are the best of the best, and they're called these. I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. Forgive me. The Same Kwashi. Now that seems fine, right? This is supposed to mean like the most elite of the elite. Unfortunately, of recent, as in on the 19th of April, to be specific, somebody by the name of Baal the Warlock. So what was going on was there was a conversation about a troll heritage quest and stuff like that. Baal the Warlock went, I'm unfortunately going to ruin everyone's day by pointing out Kwashi is patois, which is New Orleans dialect, meaning dumbass broke black guy, basically. Same is Namawaga, the Zambian language, for foreigner. So somebody in Blizzard and the Same Kwashi have gone back till Cataclysm, I think. So that's quite a while. So somebody in Blizzard named these elite warriors in troll lore foreign dumbass broke black guys. And so there's a slight problem here. I mean slight problem. I mean like a big fucking problem. So the trolls are have Jamaican accents and are explicitly based on Caribbean and African motifs. Like they are explicitly racially coded, and with that's not good. That's bad. That's extremely bad.
I hope an entire department got fired over that one.
It was not great. It was not great at all. And the thing is, this has been in the game for quite some time.
Yeah.
And not been changed. And it's only of recent that it's come back up again. And as you can expect, there was a good section. There was, I say good section, I mean a vocal section who were like, "Oh, why are you getting upset about this? It's nothing big. Why are you getting upset about your NPC names?" No, kind of thing. Because racism's fine, I guess.
Yeah, clearly, because it's traditionally always been there, so it must be fine because tradition.
Yeah. So it was passed along by another Twitter account it's Shadowhunter Club, by another Twitter account called Shadowhunter Club. The things are all pushed together, so and basically they contacted a senior narrative designer and co-author of the World of Warcraft Ultimate Visual Guide, Anne Stickney, and she said, "Been seen, noted, and absolutely not what we want in the game, period." Less than a week later, on the, I think it was the PTR server? Yes, on the PTR server, less than a week later, these NPCs had been renamed to Atal Muto. We don't know what Muto means. We assume it's taken from one of the Zandalari words, but Atal means devoted one. So we're assuming it's like devoted warrior or something like that. But that's good to see. Like it didn't take that long for them, to change it, and they listened to the players' concerns, which has not always been something that has happened traditionally in WoW, especially after all the nonsense.
Just quickly, Drifting, I want you to take your comment, just put a pin in that, and wait until I get to my article. Carry on, Shadow.
Yeah. So as Alice showing on the thing up there, like that's the title for the elites now, and this is really nice, and I like to see it. I do like to say this is a good. This is what also makes the fact that people are leaving even more heartbreaking for me, because clearly there are people here. Clearly there are people here who love the game and give a shit. They give a fucking shit. But Blizzard is treating them badly and stuff like that. I mean, I will just say there is a lot of stuff in WoW, like a lot of stuff that is frankly unnerving. Like,
It's very
let me just tell
yeah.
you, the amount of forced pregnancy that happens with dragon characters is frankly upsetting. Really upsetting.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking nuts. And I have to say, it clearly shows that this game has come from some edgy teenage boys doing some D&D, and we can be edgy by putting edgy stuff in the game. Yeah. And also there's the whole fucking shit about the Night Elf genocide in Battle of Azeroth, because burning an entire world tree and being like, "Yay, we killed a great many night elves, and now we're just going to ignore that and pretend that never happened." Like I'm just gonna say to people, if you're gonna put dark, edgy themes in your games, in your media, stuff like that, you have to roll with the consequences. You can't put it in and just be like, "Oh yay, we did a genocide, woo!" Like, no, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of that, and just being like, "Oh, but it was so long ago. Why can't you get over it?" People play night elves, okay? Of course, they're not gonna get the fuck over it. Anyway, rant done. That's the problem. I like this game. I love this game, but its world building
It's hard.
It's as wide as the Pacific Ocean, but as deep as a fucking paddling pool. It makes me so angry.
When you are writing stories for anything, MMOs, books, movies, whatever, if you do something heavy, follow through.
Yes, absolutely. There is so many themes that are brought up in WoW and then just fucking dropped as if "Oh yeah, we did the thing, yay, we did a dark thing." Guys, come on!
You did the dark
thing. Please interrogate your world building, for God's sake. I'm done. I promise.
I-
I promise I'm done.
So I'm going to move on to my article now, which is going to be because we're going to finish with Burr because Burr's got something positive. So my article, which I'm going to bring up, is actually about a game that I've been playing a little bit recently, called Horizon Forbidden West. Now, why am I bringing
Lord.
up? Why am I bringing up
Lord.
Horizon Forbidden West? Because Horizon Forbidden West is being review bombed currently. We may ask, well, Epac, why is Horizon Forbidden West being review bombed? Well, there's a complicated answer to that. There's an answer which is complicated, and there's also an answer which is very simple: is that a lot of people are a load of homophobic wankers, and that basically is what it is. Effectively, in this DLC expansion for the game, Aloy gets a romantic interest, and they are of the same gender as her. And in the game, at some point during said DLC, which put the spoiler tag up there, there is a moment where the two can have a intimate moment. When I say intimate moment, I'm not talking about bed. I'm talking about a kiss.
Just a little kiss on the lips.
A kiss, a romantic kiss to your interest, which you have the option to decline and say, I'm not ready for this, or I've got too much going on. Or you could, of course, follow through with it. But apparently, this has triggered people so much that there's people saying, oh, this is abhorrent, and the game is being review bombed because of this DLC. Now, there are a lot of people...
Wow, and they call us the snowflakes, right?
There are a lot of people who are dressing this up. Some of the people who have legitimate gripes, or are pretending to have legitimate gripes. One of the things I often see, because I trape through Twitter, I doom scroll, I do it all the time. I do it all the time because I like to take my sniper rifle and point it at people and say, "Fuck you, boom, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you," and basically post out tweets like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, if you're a blue check mark and you're bringing your dick on Twitter, what happens in my head is Jamie Heineman goes bye bye.
Now, go on, Ben.
You just need to. It's enough for you to have a blue check mark. They are at the moment like interchangeable.
Well, there are there's wholesome memes who has a blue check mark, and I won't block them because they're decent people. You know, you have to be an asshole. You have to be an asshole.
Because I thought the blue checkmark was the verified account checkmark, and then they lost it like everyone.
Also, certain people are having their checkmarks paid for by Elon, and also if you're over a mil, you get an automatic verification checkmark.
Yeah.
Over a mil. Oh, sorry.
But effectively, I've seen people say, "Oh well, she just always." One of the arguments I see is like, so she spends 2 games rebuffing any attempts from both male and female, and just suddenly she's all over this woman. It's like, well, here's the thing: this woman who she meets is someone who is effectively her equal in ability. She's someone who impresses Aloy, So and it's someone who where they clearly right. Like I've only played literally the first hour, and already I'm like, wow, they're showing this person to be up like on same kind of level as her, that she's being impressed by what they're doing. So it's quite adamant that they're setting something up.
Also, isn't Aloy like a young adult, maybe late teenager? Of course, her hormones are going to be all over the fucking place.
She's 25, 20, 20.
Fair enough, yeah. But I saw a comment somewhere where I think somebody was like, oh, why are they pushing the gays at us, something like that, and somebody was like, well, Sony games are about growing up as a young adult in the middle of the apocalypse, and in doing so is figuring out relationships, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that Sony come under criticism because this is now their second female lead character that is now gay, with the other one being, of course, Ellie.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, I care. I don't care. I don't care.
The amount of fucking straight white men I've had to fucking deal with.
You're literally speaking my mind here. I'm thinking, I've had to sit here in front of heterosexual relationships throughout my entire fucking life in movies, and and I found something to relate to that on because I have to. I had to. I had to find something to relate to that on. You know, so why can't people just suck their fucking balls up and actually take it for once and like see it doesn't matter about the genders. The point is that there's romance, there's a connection between two people. Anyone can empathize with that. Anyone can relate to that.
What drifting said?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
drifting said?
We
I
need
am
to
uncomfortable
pin.
when it's
Yeah,
about me.
we need to pin another comment of driftings.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here. There's like, it's a choice.
Yeah,
It is a choice. Yeah.
that's the thing. You don't
They
have
give
to
you a
kiss her.
fucking choice.
Yeah. Like,
No.
if you don't want to kiss another lady, if you don't want your anal to kiss another girl, just don't don't do the thing.
And there are some on here
You
who,
don't have to.
like, there are some who are really dressing up, in my opinion. Like the whole like, oh, why does she not show any romantic interest? Because they wanted to give this romantic interest to actually be important and actually do that. There are some who are like saying, oh well, I don't think there should be a romantic interest at all because it should be the player should have a choice in that. And like,
I mean, I can understand that in a way, but it's just
I disagree. I think that introduces a very interesting argument where we have. This is not an RPG where you are creating the character and you're embodying the character.
That is true.
This is a written character with proper inbuilt. It's a bit like how you say, Shadow, you'd be uncomfortable if the character in Dragon Age who is gay was romanceable by a female because he was made to be or whatever, or he was abused or something.
Oh yes, Dorian Pavlos. Yeah. That's
like,
that makes sense.
Because that has a storyline focus on why that exists.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I can understand I can understand people getting a bit uncomfy if the relationship has. No, wait a minute. Let me continue what you were saying. I need to think of my point a little bit more.
So it basically is a case of I think there's a time and place. There's no right or wrong answer to having a romance options that are selected by the player and a defined romance that the writers want to play out. They are both acceptable as options because they are both part of the artistic merit. Now, the player can dislike that direction, but that is the direction they've opted to go in. I personally think that there are a lot of people just doing some pearl clutching. And look at this: the user scores being review bombed down. Look, the Metacritic score is 81. The user score is 44. I've seen some people saying, "Oh, I don't think the DLC was very good. It's only 10 hours, 10 fucking hours for £15 worth of content. That's not a bad deal." You know,
that's pretty damn good. Yeah.
You know, and there are people.
I'm just looking at this entire situation and be like, it's a story-driven game. It's the DLC to a story-driven game that is in itself more story-driven content, and you're complaining that a character that was written isn't going the way you specifically want. It's not about you.
Yeah, you are.
It's about the story that people who made it want to present to you.
Oh no!
You complain about how a character acts in a fucking book.
Drifting, that actually was highly controversial for the exact same reason. The fact that it was a trans person, and that was a big thing. This is basically I'd say that everyone is saying this is the biggest stink that's been kicked up since The Last of Us Part 2, which I can see that.
Yeah.
Now there is one. Go on, Shannon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there was a lot of dollies being thrown out of prams because Ellie kissed a girl in the first bit of Last of Us 2 as well because oh yeah, why are you having to force this gay stuff down our throats? It's like, fuck off, mate. You've been pushing your heterosexual nonsense at me since I was but a wee child.
I mean,
I would also like to point out that the motherfuckers who are complaining that this LGBTQ content is being thrown at them will at least once have looked up lesbian porn.
Exactly. And I can also say that a lot of people who are transphobic, like some of the bigger transphobic commentators, yeah, they're chasers. They have trans porn. They've looked up trans porn.
Burr, you were going to make a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that people have been upsetteros about the entire Last of Us 2 game, not just because of the gay kiss, but also because all those assholes were like painting Abby as transgender. And they were saying, "Oh, this is a horrible person," so blah blah blah. They were
Oh
people
yeah,
were
the
just
amount of Abby's a man. Abby's a man.
Yeah.
Like,
Because she
no,
killed
she's built
Joel.
like a fucking truck.
It's because she killed Joel,
Yeah.
and people like Joel. The problem is Joel is not necessarily a good person, as the game as the game goes have its way to show you.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you played The Last of Us Part 1 back in the day, did you like Joel at least by the end, like by the end of the game?
I like him as a person, but
You know,
I understand what he did, but it doesn't make it
the
right.
decision.
Yeah, I go.
The decision, yeah.
To put a complicator in things, technically, what the people were doing to
Ellie
what's her
was
face at the end of Ellie at the end of The Last of Us 1 was the most incorrect medical thing you could ever do to a person. But that doesn't make what he was doing right.
no.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is The Last of Us is very much a world of everyone sucks here, because it is post-apocalyptic, and that does lead to people abandoning morals. But we're getting off topic there. One thing I want to say: the only, and I do use the term legitimate in commas, because I also still think it's people reaching for an excuse to hide behind the actual bigotry. And if you actually genuinely believe this is an issue, then that's fair enough. But I do believe people are using it as a shield to mask the actual bigotry, which is this. One complaint people are also citing is that The Burning Shores is a PlayStation 5 exclusive DLC. For context, Horizon Forbidden West was released on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I will point out, if you buy the PlayStation 4 version, you can upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free if you get a PS5. There's no.
I apologize, but I have to take a walk for a couple of seconds.
Sure.
I will be right
That's
back.
fine.
Just keep going.
Sure. Now, I will point out that when Burning Shores was announced, 3 days after its announcement in December, there was an article released where the developers said, this is only for PS5 because we are making this for PS5. It requires the technical advancements that the PS5 offers us. So they weren't misleading audience. They never said it'll come out for PS4, and then led people along. They didn't string people along saying, well, maybe we'll do it for PS5, or let people assumed 3 days after its announcement, they're like, no, this is just coming for PS5, and that's it. In my opinion, you can be upset that it didn't come out for PS4, but if you're review bombing it, you are part of a problem, because at that point you just take yourself out of the conversation because you're not even played the game. Is it disappointing? Yes, it is. But we'd be having the same discussion if the game was if the game was released only on PS5 from the start, because you'll be like, oh, why was it not on PS4?
Yeah, people need to understand that all generations have an ending. The PS4 generation is ending. That's it. This is the cutoff point. You can't have this, I'm afraid.
The next
people have gotten. Sorry.
Well, the next Spider-Man game is only going to be PS5 exclusive. It's not coming to PS4.
Yeah.
Carry on, Bo.
The only time I'll be annoyed at it is if Forbidden West comes to PC and that DLC isn't in it.
No, I think if it comes to PC, you'll get the DLC.
Yeah, exactly. It's entirely a hardware issue. It won't run on PS4, so they're not making it for PS4. If you haven't upgraded to a PS5 yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that might be a subject for another discussion. But people are very used to very long lives of consoles. Because back in the days when you were young, when I was young, the lifetime of a console was like 3 years, 4 years tops, and then there was a shift in the generation. That was like 8 years, 10 years. PlayStation 3 had like 8 years live. PlayStation 4 had about 8 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even 10 years.
The longest generation is that generation, which is 8 years. So.
Yeah.
I mean, the PS4 came out in 2013.
Still going today.
But we're not in the nowadays. Generations aren't just a single console anymore. It used to be the PlayStation 1, for example, would run every game that came out for the PlayStation 1, be it the first one or the last one. Now, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 5, you get the PlayStation 4 will not count the current iterations. there were so many different iterations of those consoles that games released at the end would barely run on the console released at the start.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that people are using that as an argument, saying, "Well, I'm downvoting this on Metacritic because I'm unhappy this wasn't released on PS4." When I think you're being entirely disingenuous. Is it your right is it your right to free speech to cite your opinion? Absolutely. It's also my right to call you out on being an arsehole for doing it. You know.
Yeah.
Also,
If you're downvoting this game because you're if you're downvoting this game because a 10-year-old console won't run it anymore, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in my opinion, you're just using it to mask the actual prison, which is that you have a problem with gay people. You're looking for a legitimate reason to basically mask your bigoted reason, because you know that if you
I don't even know why they're trying to mask it anymore.
Because people are cowards.
Why are you all hiding that you're bigoted, homophobic, or transphobic dickheads?
Well,
the government isn't doing it anymore.
What's scary is
think of themselves as bigoted, horrible assholes.
No, the thing is
think of themselves as the good ones.
They're more offended at being called a bigot than actually being a bigot.
That's the scary thing. I actually was going down some of the Twitter things, and there were people saying, "No, it's not downvoting. It's existing our right. We're sick and tired of this shit in our content." I'm like, you're being very overt about what you don't want in your content, and like how, and very ignorant to why that's a bad thing to have.
And just like be honest and genuine about why you're complaining about something, because if you're complaining about the fact that the game won't run on the system you have, complain about that. That's fine. That's freedom of speech. That's fine. If you're complaining about the content of the game, the way you complain about it is to not fucking buy it.
Or there are some bugs. Not experienced any bugs in the 2 hours I've played. Just saying. Not saying there's no bugs. There probably are bugs. Is it worth downvoting it to a 0? Probably not. I cite my earlier excuse. Anyway, that's basically the article for that. I think this whole thing is ridiculous. And Metacritic need to this has always been a problem. Metacritic. People need to there needs to be a solution. There needs to be verification of like, oh, you're going to leave a review on this game. Have you actually fucking played this game? No? Well, then fuck off.
Or
or
at least do what Steam does and say, God, there's a lot of like negative reviews that have come in sometimes. Do you really want this to affect the score? It's very interesting. I think at least Steam, even Steam like tries to go, yeah, this is quite strange.
To tear us down and bring us back up, because you've got one bad and one good.
Also, just want to say, Drifting Light, calling the truth right there.
Right there, yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that free speech is basically it's to stop the government from stopping you, from censoring you, not from other people telling you you're a fucking asshole.
Not from private corporations or other people telling you you're an asshole, as you say, Shelley.
Yeah, if you say the N-word on a Facebook post and you get banned for it, you violated the terms of service that you agreed to. So get fucked.
Also, there's no censorship event. It's just people are just being called out and being horrible assholes.
What? You mean people are put consequences for my actions?
Like, why can't people be more like me?
I would show that meme saying he's out of line, but he's right, but he's not out of line. He is 100% right. So, so carry on. But your article, which actually is going to waylay us into the topic for the day as well.
Okay, so my one topic is we love the controllers that are being built for people who cannot the awesome, interesting controllers that are being built for people who cannot use the typical boring controllers.
Yes.
So we even have an amazing event every February where we collect money for those people. So there is one project that wants to be a commercial project widely available, made by University of Chicago. It is called Lip.io. And what it is a controller made to be used using your lips and your tongue. Because a lot of people might have motoric problems with their hands, but it's much easier to retain the control over your lips and your tongue.
Yeah,
So
because because I just want to say, most therapies will focus on regaining speech and also for swallowing as well.
Yeah.
Here's the article. This computer
Those are very important for sustaining your life.
This computer interface that you wear like a mustache will let you open doors and play games with your lips.
Yes.
Ah.
So they want to sell it not just to people who need it, but to people who want it, because they've been doing all kinds of research on what would be the most efficient way, and it's like there's like it's shown on the screen above me. There's a layer that you stick to your upper lip. That on one side, easy to touch with the tongue. There are 5 tactile points that you can touch with your tongue and activate them, so they can be your buttons for like smart house or your car or your console as a controller. And on the side that is sticking to your lip, there is a tactile response where you get the slight buzzer that will let you know what is happening. There's also like 5 points that will buzz and let you know what is going on, how you should react. So for people who need extra tactile stimulation, extra tactile feedback like that, this is a genius solution. I already see that it would be great for me if I can only like control with the analog stick, and I don't have to press buttons at the same time. I could do it with my tongue.
Well, that's the holy grail of games.
Yeah, considering the lips have got like a shit ton of nerve endings on the end of them.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea, because the only sort of controllers I've seen that involve the mouth have been the ones where you use air, you suck or blow kind of thing, or like our friend Woolsey's, who uses voice commands kind of thing. So
Yeah,
to use the facial muscles is a very very good idea, especially with our mouths, because we are already extremely tactile with them.
And the tongue is also one of our like best developed tools for touching and feeling and recognizing, like on par with the fingers.
Oh
Maybe
boy,
better than
it will find like the slightest gap in a tooth and be in there all the goddamn fucking time.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's
All
like,
right.
oh, there's something here between the teeth. Like, yes, stop telling me.
But hey, there's a little bit of food that you didn't quite get right there.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's there.
And your tongues are just twisting and pushing. It's just like, get it out. I'll get it out this time. We'll get it out this time.
Yeah,
I
so
spent 5 minutes of work just like, not even looking at my work, just like,
so one of the creators, developers on the video is showing other uses than just a game controller for people with disabilities. It's showing things like when you're riding a bike or a bicycle and you get your GPS signals, not from the screen that will distract you, but the signals on your lip will tell you like turn right or go straight on, etc.
It's quite useful. Yeah.
To respond
I don't
also.
know if you heard of toothpicks.
Well, here's the thing. I don't carry toothpicks around with me. You know, it's like I'll just whip out my toothpick that I carry around.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
I've
have a
got
little
something
box of
stuck in
toothpicks
my
on my
tooth,
desk at work.
yeah. If I've got something stuck in my teeth, especially at home, I go into the fucking bathroom and I use the dental floss.
Yeah.
Because the dental floss is even better than the tongue. But if you
Also,
don't have
I would chew toothpicks.
Yeah, this is why you have to have the environmentally unsafe plastic toothpicks, because You don't get splinters. You don't get like any kind of disgusting paint that is used on the wood, etc.
As
Bold
much
of
as
you
I
to
would like
assume
to
I
use
wouldn't chew them.
toothpicks, as much as I would like to use toothpicks, I wouldn't be able to because my bullshit office has a clear desk policy.
Oh no.
I'm not even allowed a nice picture at my desk.
Aw.
Oh, rude.
Yeah, that's rude.
Well, that's fascinating. It's
Okay.
lovely to see new advancements in
Yeah.
tech coming around.
Yeah.
This is fantastic news.
Yep.
What is
It
the
is,
other
and
thing?
I hope it will be like cheap on the level of regular controller,
Yeah, it
so that
does.
a lot of people can afford it.
Yeah, I will just say, like, for abled people who think, hey, yeah, I could actually use that for insert convenient thing here. Yeah, totally do that, because there's one thing that people miss out, or there is a perception that if you don't need an accessibility option like subtitles and stuff like that. For example, I have a work shirt which is pop buttons instead of like the normal buttons in a hole kind of thing. And a lot of people are like, oh well, I don't need a shirt that's pop buttons because I don't struggle with doing buttons. So I would leave that for somebody who needs it. But like, no, if you buy that and you don't need it, but you think, hey, I like this shirt. This shirt's cool. That's more money for the people who make it, so they can make more for the people who actually need it.
Even I'm looking at this. Even I'm looking at this, thinking this
Yeah.
would be very useful.
Smart.
So
It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
business works on the law of supply and demand. If you think that's cool, but want to leave it for somebody else, realize that if you buy that shelf space will refill.
Yeah, exactly.
They will make another one. They will ship it there. They will put it on that shelf
Yeah.
for somebody who will use it to buy it.
It's the fear of like taking resources. Yes, but if you use it, it's like if you use a public service like a library or something like that. But the thing is, if you use that library, you become part of the usage numbers, and then they can go to the government and say, "Hey, our
Yeah.
usage numbers are increasing. Can we have more of your budget, please?" And then they get more money, and then they can expand their capacity for more people, so they can help
Yeah.
more people. I mean, that's the reasonable thing not in this climate, but
Yeah.
I did not realize.
Yeah.
Go on, Bev. You first.
Like an incentive for a maker of local produce, where someone would be selling their homemade eggs or tomatoes on the local market. If you buy a lot, they will be more incentivized to have more tomatoes next year.
yeah. Or to be like, oh, people like these. I wonder if they
Yeah.
want this other thing.
Yeah.
I did not realize how much I loved having back buttons on my controller until I got controllers with back buttons, and now I can't buy controllers without back buttons because
I still need to
Back
get
buttons, back buttons
Pro
are a
controller.
blessing.
they
I need to get one of those.
versatility
That's
is
so dumb.
amazing. But yeah, effectively, yeah, it's like you use new technology, use them, inspire them. I got Stream Decks. I got 2 Stream Decks. Do I need 2? No, I only need 1. But I've got 2, and having 2 is amazing. Same thing. Do you need 2 screens? No, but it's nice having 2 screens, isn't it? You know, that kind of thing.
Two
Anyway,
screens is fucking dope. Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
I can't. I would. I struggle. I can go back to one screen, but it's a struggle. Oh man, it's a struggle.
I'm still trying to get back up to 3 screens because my third one broke.
Oh.
What is your next
Oh.
piece of news then, Burr?
Yeah, so old people doing things usually done by young people.
Woo! We
That's
love us.
typical, like, summer cucumber season news article. Like, this old person is doing something young people do. So
We love us. We love us some old people doing some fun shit here.
yeah, so old people are playing games. Yes, what?
It's 50 plus drifting, but
I mean, it's 50 plus, but they are splitting it across decades. They are doing the analysis of 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 plus gamers. The American organization AARP, who is mostly focused on things that are related to people 50 plus, formerly known as American Association for Retired Persons,
Mm.
have gathered this this year's 2022 to 23 survey that they do year over year, especially during the pandemic, and now after it's like subsided a bit. So they've been doing an analysis and a survey called 50 plus gamers of today and tomorrow. So they're focusing on groups of 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and 70 on. But they're also analyzing my group, which is 40 to 49,
Nice.
as the 50 plus people of tomorrow. Because I will be 50 plus in less than a decade.
The old people of tomorrow, today.
Yeah. Yes, and it turns out, thanks to the pandemic, a lot of old people are picking up games. I mean, a lot of it is something that we've already known, like predominantly the games that people are choosing are mobile games, not requiring a lot of skill, like puzzle games, match 3 games, hidden
Wordle
object
is
games.
Wordle is explicitly mentioned
Yeah.
in this study.
Yeah, Wordle is explicitly mentioned as a Wordle effect, which is in previous years, the word games and word puzzles were not popular, and now they are showing substantially on the list of popular genres because of Wordle. And also, people are spending maybe less time overall in a month comparing to during the pandemic when they were locked down. But those who have kept on playing, they are spending more time overall on gaming compared to last year when people have been spending on average 8.5 hours a week on gaming. It's now 12 hours a week on average on gaming, which is quite a lot. And that's from the good information, but there are also informations about what things there are to improve so that people can and then people can play some more, because a lot of people in those age periods, like the 50s, the 60s, 70s, they all are mentioning the same thing. They are not represented in the games. They have they cannot relate to characters in the games. That is like it's very, very, a lot of people are feeling that, but that's not like very important for them. But what is very important is that there are no difficulty settings. There are not enough accessibility options for older people. There's not enough tutorials. So basically, things that we were harping about since the podcast was on. It's like we have no proof that people need it.
There we
We
go.
have the proof now.
Yeah, and research like that is pretty important, because the people, like the 50 plus people, those are older people. Those are those kids from Stranger Things. Those are kids that were born in the 70s and been pre-teens, teenagers in the 80s. They've been seeing Star Wars in the theaters. They've seen Ghostbusters. They've been playing Pac-Man and Pong and Dragon Lair and all kinds of games that were released back then. So they are the first generation of people who had video games since they were kids. They were in some way, those video games were around all the time. So like starting from them, every next generation is a generation of people who have been growing up in some way with video games.
I mean, drifting into something. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Surely back when gaming started, those people would have been the ones buying the games and consoles, and some probably sat down with their kids and got interested in gaming themselves. I mean,
yeah, they would have been around with like the ZX Spectrum and stuff like that.
Although
ZX Spectrum is kind of my age.
It's worth mentioning that doesn't. Go on.
Yeah, but that is the generation we're thinking of here. And
although what your comment you made, drifting, it doesn't always happen, because my parents were never interested in gaming at all, never even attempted to be interested. Not that it is simply not part of their generation, but I think we're starting to get to that point where there are generations of gamers who kind of fell off the train and then are coming back.
Yeah.
And some who are even just experienced. I mean, have any of you heard of Shirley Curry?
No.
Rings a bell.
Anyone who after the show goes and Google who Shirley Curry is. Shirley Curry is a YouTuber. And she is she's an
Oh, she's Skyrim Grandma.
She's Skyrim grandma. She's 87 years
Oh,
old,
Let's go.
and
Yeah.
she plays Skyrim, quite well as well. And she's 87 years old. So bless her.
Good for her.
Good for her. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry,
we've had
go
a
on.
few grandmas like that reported by the news. Like there's one grandma in Gdansk
Oh,
that's
there's a
like
GTA one.
Assassin's Creed grandma.
There's just a GTA one.
Drifting says, "I want to be her when I grow up." Yes.
Yeah, no, my dad had some old video games. He had them SimCity 3000, Doom and Quake. First Doom, first Quake, and Dungeon Keeper 1 and 2, and something else. I think Homeworld. Yeah, the original Homeworld. But he sort of fell off. I don't know. Either like he didn't find any interest in them or anything like that. But so essentially, I got my start in video gaming from my dad's old collection, kind of thing. And
That is very nice.
yeah, and I will also say that this kind of reminds me of people in like youngsters in the fandom space who come into the fandom space and they see people like my age and older, like people of 30 odd, and they're like, why are you old people here? Why don't you go and have children and stuff like that? Why are you in fandom spaces making fan fiction stuff like that? Bitch, those people are the reason why AO3 exists. They built the fandom archives and stuff like that, and the website and stuff like that. It's just like, if not for those people, we wouldn't have these spaces. Also, what I fucking do with my fucking time is my own goddamn business. If I want to write tentacle porn about, one of my favorite characters, I'm gonna do that. I did that.
You can't stop us.
Yeah, you can't stop me.
They can stop us.
You could judge us, but you can't stop us.
You could judge me. But I don't care.
Especially us gamers, us nerds and geeks, we should first of all remember and learn what it means to live in a non-inclusive society. And we should learn to be inclusive, not to gatekeep people.
Oh, I had to.
Don't gatekeep Duck Soul fans.
I had to tear someone down on Twitter yesterday for their behavior.
Yeah.
But is that the end of the arc, or is there some more? Or?
No, basically that is the end. It's just people are playing games, and the percentage of gamers in the subsequent generations will be only bigger and bigger.
Okay.
Which is very encouraging.
So we move on to the topic of the night for the last kind of half an hour or 20 minutes of the show. And I want you all to join me, everyone. I want you all to join me. I want you all just bear with me as I share this with my audience and join us as we, of course, turn to, of course...
Oh, yes.
As, of course, we must bow our heads in respect, for there has been a death today. As all things bright and beautiful, it returns to once again the cloth of our Lord, as the death of E3 has finally become upon us. Amen.
From ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
From ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
From the cringe to the cringe.
Press F to pay respects.
Press F to pay respects. So yes, E3 is dead, everyone. Long live E3.
I predicted this.
So yes, hello everyone. E3 unfortunately died a death. It was announced officially by the company that E3 would not be happening this year, and it is
the ESA.
Oh, hang on.
Also, it's a death in the family.
It's a death in the family. Yes, it's a death. Yeah, a death in the family. There we go. There you go. E3. Oh yes, the death of the family. Pay us pay
Professional shrimp.
respects. But yes, and so we thought we'd have a discussion. E3 is dead. Oh no. Anyway,
Okay.
do we need E3?
No, I honestly not anymore. Not
No.
Yeah.
like I think I said that. I can't remember when I said this, but I think E3 like lost its relevance as a news thing when when COVID hit and companies discovered that we could just have these announcements whenever wherever we want, because when we have stuff like sometimes companies come to E3 and they're like, we don't really have anything. But now it's just like, yeah, we could just have our showcase stream when we have stuff. I think there's a THQ showcase. I think in like August or
Something
sometime
like that.
soon.
Drifting
Yeah.
does have a good point. It is the idea that it's glad to see something that's been around that long die.
Yeah.
But that's just the existential crisis
Yeah.
peeking around the corner. To be fair, yeah, everything dies eventually. Nothing lasts forever.
That's the circle of life.
Yeah.
Circle of life.
I'd say E3 was,
No.
I saw the Lion King musical a few weeks ago.
Oh my god,
Nice.
it's so good, isn't it?
I busted my freaking wrist.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you weren't
I took a
supposed to
fall.
fight. You weren't supposed to fight the lion.
No, but it's in my opinion, E3 stopped being relevant long before COVID. It stopped being relevant when they opened the doors to public tickets. Because E3 started as a showcase.
It is just
Yeah, it was a corporate. It was a corporate showcase, wasn't it?
It was a corporate and
Yes.
media showcase. News, specific chosen journalists and personalities coming to report and see these things, and possibly and broadcast it to the internet, like, to see what is going to be released. And then they opened the doors to normal, the public.
Please.
And that went from being announcements to we've got to cater to a massive, to all these people.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they started noticing that the internet is enough ubiquitous that all the press releases, all the contacts within the industry, between the media outlets and publishers and the creators, they can be all done on the internet. But since we already have the E3, we should get something out of it. So let's sell it to the public and at least milk it for all it's worth.
And the milking is done. Basically, the public have realized that it's not worth going anymore.
The one thing I do miss, and I will say this, is I miss the pomp and circumstance and the gravitas that came with E3. Like before, of course, we start going to Games Expo in June. I used to take the entire week of E3 off, and there'd be this great pomp and circumstance of tuning in every day, watching nearly the entire day as announcements go through. As you get interviews with all kinds of people and developers and likes of games. I loved that. And I do miss that. I do like how companies have gone in to do their own thing, but I do miss the fact that it's now that not everyone is there together. It's kind of like a bit of like, well.
Yeah, I used to live blog E3 when I was still on Tumblr. That shit was always fun. You'd always get people getting real mad when the cars showed up. They were like, "Oh, I guess it's bathroom break now."
Yeah, I hope it's a long shit because the car shows up for at least 15 minutes.
And that's actually where the Game Awards comes in for me. Is that, to me, that's replaced E3 as the pomp and circumstance event.
We still have the German Gamescom.
Well, Gamescom, yes. I'm not saying that there aren't these events. What I'm saying is that the Game Awards, that is because that is less. It's corporate, but it's also less like no one company controls it. It's all done by.
It's like the Oscars, really.
Yeah, and you've got the orchestra like playing the music, and that's, I like pomp and circumstance, and I love that, a celebration of gaming, and that's why I look forward to the Game Awards every single year now, and probably likely going to take off that not the week, but probably the days
I
that it happened. So
Yeah, I might be the outlier of the group, but I feel like I prefer the world without E3, where we have separate showcases, separate
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
events for each company. 'Cause
No.
when you have one big event with millions of things happening at the same time, I am getting overwhelmed and exhausted just by seeing how many people are there, how many events, how many companies. And when it's like limited to one company will show themselves on this week, and then 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later, there's another company doing the same thing. It's so much easier to comprehend it all, to grasp all of it, to watch it, uh, to see every company just within itself. Like instead of focusing on everything, not really grasping anything. It's like you can focus on what this company is showing you. And then later on you can see another one and you can compare in time. You have time to process through all the things. So
I
in
get
that sense, I do prefer this approach.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I do think that it's better now that companies have a more control over when stuff goes out. That being said, another thing I do miss about E3 is that was always the event. You know,
Yeah.
if there was like a massive announcement,
One thing.
If they had like one massive thing to announce, a company would wait to E3 for that announcement because that's the time you announce it. And I feel like without that, we're now in a bit of station of like, well, when do these things get announced? You know,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I feel like a lot of people will also miss all the cringe that was happening on the stages, like the dancing shark and things.
sometimes the cringe was so good. Sometimes the cringe was so bad it was good. Like I still remember Mr. Coffee, as awful as he was. Yeah.
Gillette man.
Or that year they had, what was his name? That PlayStation executive like guy who wasn't like the executive. He was like the idea of like the caricature of an executive that they had at PlayStation. Kevin, whatever his name is. No one remembers this guy. All right, no, just me then.
I don't remember. Sorry.
But no,
just say,
yes.
I will just say, thankfully, this hasn't been a issue in recent years, thankfully. But I'm going to upset a lot of people when I say I'm glad it's gone because I'm glad the booth babes disappeared.
Oh God, yes. I think that's more.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
guys. We're gonna have to admit to ourselves that E3 did have a very laddish behavior, have a lot of laddish behavior. And
You
one
are
of
not
those
wrong.
was to get scantily clad women to promote your product, and I'm very glad to say that's less of an issue these days. But the aura persists, and I'm glad it's had a pillow put over its face.
See,
Personally,
I'm glad
as
that's
a
moved.
woman.
I'm glad that's moved on. Thing is, I always thought that was just a problem within the industry itself. It wasn't just E3; it was other events as
Oh
well.
yes, but think about it, El. That is your biggest industry thing. This is the industry showing itself to the world,
That's
and we've
true.
got sexism all over the place.
No, you are right. That context does make it seem worse. No, you are completely right. Like I say, I'm just you got no argument for me there.
Most industries nowadays sells their product with sex, but yeah, this is very very obviously profiling the target for the game.
Yes, but that is still a problem in the
That is a
video game
problem.
industry. Like women are still treated very badly, and I'm sorry I have to come in as the woman on the podcast to bring that in, but I have to remind people that that's one of the things that is a problem in the video games industry.
No, it is. You're right. It is a problem, and there's no argument about that. There's.
I mean, of recent, there was some mythic invitationals for World of Warcraft who were just for minorities and women, and the amount of fucking racism and sexism that came out of the WoW community because these events were just for women and minorities was absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like there was one fucking clown who, with her full fucking chest, said, "WoW's a physical sport. WoW is a physical sport. That's why men are better at it than women." I'm just like, what the fuck?
It's
Yeah,
a
a
fucking
physical
numbers
sport
game.
with a
When
fucking keyboard and mouse.
pressing three buttons to activate spells is in order in a
Physical
sequence is a
sport,
physical
guys.
sport.
No. Let's just be kind. Let's be kind. They use macros, so
It's only
mean,
one button, guys.
You can't even have high APMs because of cooldowns.
Yeah, this is so fucking ridiculous. So yeah, just I had to put my own 2 cents in.
No.
But-
That you are right to point that out because you are correct that there was a lot of sexism on display, and while I also think that that's a problem with the industry in the whole, you are correct that at your flagship show is kind of where you want to put your best foot forward, and it didn't. They weren't attempting to correct in those moments. So you are correct, and I'm glad to say that thinking about it, I don't recall anything recently that's had anything overtly like that. Which
no,
is good.
that's a very good thing. Like booth babes have thankfully seemed to become retired, but there is still that kind of
There's a
thought among
laddish.
some
Yeah.
there's a laddish
Yeah,
behavior.
Fred boyish. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you are a woman who has maybe who maybe like wants to show some skin, wants to show off their body because women are allowed to do that. You get some people who think that's consent to
Invitation.
do. Yes,
Yeah.
and no, it isn't. Stop it.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's like it's not invitation, fellas. It's
Yeah, no,
it's no, sorry, it is invitation. It's invitation to fuck off.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
and
invitation to look, respect it.
It's a horrible, depressing shame that you have to explain that to people.
Yeah,
That
I know,
is depressing.
right? Like,
Well, I think
it's like,
part
but
of
I just want to say, like, the same goes to women. Like, if a guy has like really tight cut jeans that show off his ass, no, you are not allowed to grab his ass. Leave him alone.
I mean,
No, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't do the sexual assault. Yes, you can do the sexual assault. Leave the man alone.
we've seen those
Yeah.
Gaston videos.
It's a problem. It's a problem that's been rampant in the anime,
Oh, God,
convention
yes.
scene for
Oh
decades
yeah,
now.
cosplay is not consent.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Cosplay is
That
not.
had to be outright stated at many a convention. Cosplay does not equals consent.
Wait, that's an actual banner that people put. Really? They needed to say. They needed to say that. Oh, for God's sake!
Yep.
Yeah,
Come on, people.
Rule to a lot of conventions, and we're kicking people out for being a bit too handy.
There's a reason whenever I want like to get a picture taken, I don't use arms. I just huddle myself in and give like the thumbs up or something.
Yeah, no, I have several pictures of me at CoxCon, and the thing is, like, the only I've always been self-conscious about touching
Yeah.
these people because
I'd like touching people.
I want to keep my arms at like shoulder level and stuff like that. I always worry that maybe my arms are a little low on some people, but like if they put their hands out on my shoulder first, then I will mirror them, kind of thing. I'm like, okay, shoulder fine, shoulder is good, sort of thing. But like,
Griffin brings up the old glomping as well.
oh yeah, I remember that.
The glomp was the now defunct term because nobody does it anymore, thankfully.
Yeah,
of the aggressive running tackle hug.
Yeah, I mean, weird as. In fairness, Lewis has done that to me on my first UK Games Expo. But the thing is, that was consensual.
Yeah. Between friends, it's a bit different.
It came to a head when people got injured because glomping got to the point where they weren't just tackling, they were lifting their feet off the ground and jumping into them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Injuries were involved at a number of anime conventions, so it tended to be like, calm it down or fucking stop. And it did.
Yes.
It is. I do think also.
Them's were bad times.
I do think a lot of this is probably to the fact that gaming still, despite its more widespread appeal, does still have that view, the wrong view that it is a male, straight, white.
Yeah, it's a
pastime.
frat boy.
Yeah,
it's a frat boy. I mean, as I was talking about the the Blizzard stuff. Like a lot of this racism stuff is either, well, a lot of the themes in Warcraft that are a bit I can see them coming from D&D sessions, because if I remember correctly, Warcraft did come from D&D sessions between Chris Metzen and some other people. I think someone will have to correct me on that if I'm wrong, but it does come from D&D sessions, and you can see the patterns, of like some lads, thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna have some like edgy themes in our D&D, yeah, and it's like, and then you look back at it, you're like, ugh, kind of thing.
What do you mean World of Warcraft, or do you mean the entire like Warcraft franchise?
Yes.
Ah.
Mostly, in fairness, I mostly mean the lore of Warcraft, verging on World of Warcraft. But yeah, Warcraft was also inspired by D&D stuff.
It's important, I think, to make sure that because there'll always be groups that push back against that narrative. That it's like, no, it welcomes everyone. What are you talking about? We know there is still this predominantly idea that it is frat boy culture. There is the gaming community has problems with sexism. It has problems with homophobia and transphobia. It has these problems. Admitting it has these problems is fine. It's just also we need to think how to fix those things. There doesn't need to be this talk about how it's not, because normally the people who are not one of these things are those that are saying that it's not there, which is like, well, you don't really get a chance. You're not really the people who get a chance to have a say in what is or isn't happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, there's no insert bigotry here in this game," and the people who experience it are like, "You want to fucking bet?"
Fleming?
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
What the man says.
Controversial.
What was that?
It's not there, says local isn't affected by any of this bigotry. Exactly.
Drifting nailed it. The person who says there isn't any problem here is the person who's not affected by it, so they don't see it. And they then may not even realize that they might not even be engaging with any of it, which is great if they're not. It's just important to make sure that they're aware that this is a problem and that they should fight against any of it.
Of recent, like, people said, hey, can you not like push on the cannibalism thing for trolls in World of Warcraft, because that's actually a stereotype of Polynesian and other Caribbean cultures. It's a negative stereotype of these people and has often been used to say that our cultures are savage and dirty, etc., etc. And I bought into this narrative when I was writing my World of Warcraft fanfics. I made it as a joke kind of thing, just like, oh, if you're not careful, I'll eat you kind of thing. And now I'm just like, oh well, that fucking sucks. That's shitty. I won't do that anymore. So sometimes it just takes time to learn these things.
Yeah, but at least you learned.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh shit, I can't undo the stuff that I put in my fanfics, but at least I could be like, whoa, shit, I know this is wrong. I won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
No, I think that we can all say that we are sad at the death of a long-standing institution of E3, but also believe that its time had come, and there's no reason for it to be around.
Now his watch has ended.
His watch has ended.
Yeah, and in fairness, what the ASA was trying to get out of E3, their plans for, like, I can't remember what it was, but they were like, yeah, you could stream the lines or something. I can't remember, but they were making some whack ass plans, and I was just like, please no.
Round orb of a plushie on my shelf.
We are done, so please answer the question.
I think are you meaning the Knuckles drifting?
You mean that?
Bring it over so Drifting can see.
Yeah, that's because he knows the way.
He knows the way. He's friend.
Yeah.
It's not an orb. It's just the way
it's
just the way the book is.
Yeah,
it makes it look like an orb, but he's not an orb.
Yeah. And also, each time you show him, you have to pay royalties to Ken Penders.
enough,
Right then, and
No
with that,
knuckles, thankfully.
we're gonna call it tonight for the Common Dense podcast. Also, unusually, we are gonna be coming back next time with a topic because we've had the audience suggest a topic for us for next time, which is we're gonna be talking about FOMO in
The fear of missing out.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you better not miss out
Yep.
our podcast next month.
Yeah, don't do that.
I do have a cute plushie sort of thing to show off anyway. There you go. There's a cute plushie thing.
Oh, a baby.
Yeah.
So yes, don't
So
miss.
there you go.
So don't miss out on the next episode of the Common Dense podcast as we talk about FOMO and the fear of missing out.
Yeah,
As
you might miss out on something. I don't know.
interesting
I'll
and
think about it.
interesting intellectual discussion, which often happens on this show.
Don't miss out on the next podcast, or you'll miss out on a discussion by us four.
Yeah, I might drop some more WoW lore. You never know.
We
I
might
might
get
drop-
angry at politics and in video
I
games.
might drop new names
Yeah.
for Switch too.
The Go Switch gadget switch to.
We might talk about ongoing lawsuits.
And it's worth mentioning this will be.
Monkey Switch Go.
This is also going to be on the Tuesday, the 30th of May, which is the day before three of us head over to UK Games Expo. So this is.
Oh, that's gonna be fun because I might be at my.
It's gonna be fun.
Actually, I think I will be coming live from Ibis Hotel.
That's good before I go
Should-
to Malta as well.
Should we move it to the 23rd then, in that case?
No, it'll be fine.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I will be taking my iPad, so I will be fine.
Great, we can have Burr on location. It's fantastic.
Have rural location. Okay.
Maybe I'll even sit in the lounge.
with the brandy.
Oh
Oh God,
Well,
I'd pay
I'll
good money to
ask-
see that.
I'll ask for a Pepsi in a brandy glass.
Say one for me.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you all for joining us here at the Common Dense podcast for a death in the family in terms of E3. Press E3 to pay respects. Next time we talk about FOMO, and of course we comment dancing upon the news that comes out at that time. If you want to contribute to the podcast, you can actually do so by joining our Discord, where we actually have a news section where we encourage all our viewers just to post about the news. Who knows, your news that you post might get talked about on the podcast. Also, you can suggest topic ideas. The FOMO idea came from our good friend Divot, who was on the show earlier. So please don't forget to come up and you can join the Discord, which I'm just going to push a little button here, and hopefully
So-
Cases go as well.
So
Go
next
talk
month-
to Fur.
yeah.
Go talk to Fur about coming with us. Coming with
Yeah.
him.
Yes, I will. I will pull a sky hook down from the plane when I'm crossing above Netherlands. I'll just pull you out to the plane.
Yes.
MI5, we're joking. MI6, we're joking. We're not trying to.
We're not.
We're not committing a crime.
And yes, GCHQ. I'm not actually committing a crime. I was just putting
FBI,
Coca-
we're
I
clear.
was putting Coca-Cola in a Pepsi glass. That was my crime. I wasn't actually.
Which would be a crime underneath my rule. But
FBI, open up.
But that's Shadow. She loves to live dangerously.
I wanted to say yes, thank you for joining us, guys. Feel free to join the Discord where you can, of course, join in the conversation. Plus, also, we're there all the time. You can engage with us, and plus, who knows?
2,000 years.
Well, you said it. Where's McGavel?
Catch me, Papa.
2,000 years. There you go. Jail for 1,000 years. There you go. I sentence to be handed down. My name's been Eback, joined here by Burr,
Bye.
Lemming,
Bye-bye.
and of course, Shadow.
You'll never catch me, Papa.
Oh dear Lord.
See?
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Nah, see, nah.
See?
We're gonna take over this town, see?
Nah.
Uh,